Hello everyone, welcome to Art Survey. We are starting a new unit today over observational drawing. Observational drawing unit, we are going to focus on two separate skills that are going to be super helpful for you in your observational drawing. The first one is a value study, and the second is contour drawing. So with our value study, value is just how light or dark something is. So we specifically are going to do a pencil value study. That's going to start with a value scale, which is going to look something like this. And then we will do an image value study. And that looks something like this. So you're going to have an image, a black and white image on a paper, and you'll have a second copy of it that is an outline. And your task will be to replicate the values. But that's going to come later after we start with our value scale worksheet. On our value scale worksheet, for this exercise, you will need a pencil, obviously. If you're in class, I'll give you an option of using some other potential tools. We've got ebony pencils, which are actually very dark, but they're super soft and cool to draw with. We'll also have some different erasers, also a blending stick. As you start this project, and with anything with drawing, I always recommend starting as lightly as possible because you can always add more, but it's significantly harder to lighten up what you've already done. If you are just at home and don't have this worksheet, you can take a ruler and sketch yourself out a scale. This does not have to be super exact. We're going for 5 values in our scale. Should have black, dark, medium, light, and white. As you could probably guess, with white, you're not really gonna need to sketch anything in there. I like to work, we could go either way. I think maybe it's easiest to start with black and then do slightly lighter as you go forward. So obviously on your black, this is gonna be just super, super dark, as dark as you can get it. This is where the blending stick is gonna come in, because you can take this and use it to smooth out your values once you have them on there. All right, now we're going to dark. I'm gonna be a little bit lighter handed this time. We don't have to worry as much about being smooth since we have a blending stick. If you don't have a blending stick at home, you could use a piece of tissue paper. And when you blend it, it's gonna give it a little bit darker of a value because it's gonna take some of the color off of the blending stick. Let's say that you got your medium a little too dark. Uh-oh, that looks basically the same as dark. Well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna darken up my dark one. There, and now my light one, I'm basically not putting any pressure on this. I'm just moving the pencil back and forth over the spot and letting the weight of the pencil. Oops, don't use that blending stick too heavily. I might need to darken my medium a little bit now. It's gonna take a little bit of trial and error, but that's fine. That's the purpose of this activity, is for you to get a little experience with just or how those different values will appear. Even if you have to try a couple times to make sure you get it perfect, that's fine. That's the point of this exercise. After you have your 5 values, you are gonna go on to the next step of our value scale study, which, once again, if you have the worksheet and are in person, we are going to shade this circle to match this sphere. We're gonna use our shading to make this flat object appear 3-dimensional. And a way you can think about this is to try and make sure that you get all 5 values into the way that you're shading. Anytime you are shading a 3-dimensional object, if you're at home, just sketch a circle. I'm gonna use this one to label my different parts. So, whenever you're shading a 3-dimensional object, you have a highlight, and that is your spot that is going to be white. In between your highlight, you and your core shadow. So the core shadow sort of makes a little crescent in here like this. As you might have guessed, your core shadow is going to be black. That's gonna be your darkest spot. In between your core shadow and your highlight, you have midtones, which are gonna be your lights, mediums, and darks. You also have a cast shadow in this area here that's just behind the core shadow that I'm going to label off to this side because I ran out of room, which is your reflected light. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different parts here. We've got 5 different shades. Our reflected light area is gonna match more our midtone, one of our midtones that are close to our core shadow. Where my highlight is, I'm not going to color on that at all because the paper is going to stay white there. I'm gonna gently ease in around there. Once again, I'm gonna use my blending stick to shade this all together. So remember, shade lightly. You can always add more. It's much harder to lighten it up once you have it on there. So I'm gonna try and kind of match, just kind of shade the whole thing with my lightest tone. I know that my core shadow is gonna be in here, so I can get real nice and dark on my core shadow on this crescent shape. Once I have my core shadow, I'm going to kind of ease out of it to get into some of those midtones. Probably gonna, we're gonna use our dark right next to the core shadow, fade into a medium, ease with our midtones back towards our highlight so that it's a smooth transition from core shadow to highlight. And remember, don't forget your cast shadow. On the worksheet here, I would say that cast shadow is about as black as it can be. I'm gonna start it with a little bit of kind of reflected light onto the ground and then kind of ease in here. And then to finalize, I'm gonna go in here with my blending stick, just kind of smooth everything out. Blend lightly on your light parts because you don't want to end up smearing your core shadow and spreading it over. Also, gently blend on your midtones so that you don't mush those all into one. And that's basically what we're looking for. So to get full points for this assignment, you need to have your 5 different shades within your value scale. And then on your shaded sphere, I need to see a highlight, a couple of midtones, core shadow, reflected light, and the cast shadow. Once you have these down, once you feel comfortable with this skill, then we're gonna go from the value scale to our image value study. So I've got my value scale here for reference. I have my image here that I'm gonna shade. As I'm looking at this, I'm looking to compare my value scale to what values I see on here. So blacks, I've got blacks. These areas are gonna be as dark as I can get them. So I know I can shade them as dark as I want. These tones here, that's probably my medium tone. So I think I've got black, dark, medium, and this would probably be light. Oh, actually, yeah, that would be light, and then these would be white. So as you go, just follow your value scale. Refer to your value scale to find, okay, is this area dark? Is it light? Is it medium? And that's how you'll know what level to shade each part. Continue to shade until you get the whole image filled in. I think that's everything I need to say there. If you are at home for this activity and not sure how you're gonna do this one, I'll post a few pictures, a few different images onto the assignment online, and you can try your best just to sketch from those images. Thanks for watching, bye.